everyone and welcome along. Today we are painting the letter S, and the letter S is brought to you by the Sweet Pea. Grab your paints and let's get started. I'm excited to do this sweet pea because, we grew sweet peas in the garden last year, which was a real triumph, and I like the idea of sort of snaking it up around this S as if it was a climbing frame. So we'll have some growing up like that. It's going to be quite wiggly and quite fiddly. And the good thing is on the rows where we've got a bit more space, do think about how you're going to fill that. I'm sort of bringing things inwards. I did that with the rows as well, just because we've got lots of space here and I want to keep a sort of a fairly sort of even margin, I suppose, on the outer side. So I'm just going to roll that. So I've got a nice sort of twisty frame for my sweet peas, and I want to do a purple pea. We haven't had much pure purple. Now with a sweet pea, even if you want a single colour, you never just get a single colour. So I'm going to take some alizarin crimson. I'm also going to take some French ultramarine. So I've got those three there. Now they look quite dark, but I'm going to paint them in a fairly sort of dilute manner. And the lovely thing about sweet peas is they're just crying out to be painted in watercolour. So I'm going to do some just little brush strokes like that. I could drop a bit of blue in. I might put a bit of red into alizarin into my purple on the palette, and then drop some in there. They're so beautiful. I love them, and I'm told they're quite hard to grow. I mean, ours were pretty small, they're pretty mini, but it was such a big achievement to grow them when we did. So keep dropping in those colours. And you don't need to sort of overwork it at all. Okay, and we're going to let that dry. So I allowed that to dry and then just painted in the stem with my 4/10 brush and some green gold. And now I'm going to come in and just add a sort of little sap green, little sepal. They have little U shapes like this, and then little flyaway sepals. And then we can have some gorgeous little sweet pea twiddles, little tendrils, and also the leaves. So the leaves grow in pairs, and I think I'll go up to my 2/10 brush for this, and I'm going to mix together the green gold and sap green because it is quite a fresh green. And the nice thing is the leaves sort of work a bit like bunny ears. They are just smooth-sided. Pop one in, just peeking out behind there. Probably don't need too many. And then the bit we've all been waiting for, doing the lovely tendrils. So I'm just using the fine point of my 2/10 brush. Obviously I do have a smaller brush in the 4/10, but this is working just fine. You just need to make sure that you have a lovely fine point on your brush. And yeah, I think that looks great fun. Now, something very important to mention. Let's just look at the rows above. So up until now, I've been alternating buff titanium to turquoise, buff titanium to turquoise, and down here. And as a whole, it's looking really nice. I was looking down and realised that we've now got 3 rows of 4, which means they're pretty much sort of, well, they're even numbers. And so if I was now to put buff titanium there, I'd get turquoise, buff titanium, and I thought, well, I'm going to have then some solid sort of columns of colour. So I've taken the decision that on this row, I'm going to paint this one in turquoise, which means that I'll have buff titanium, turquoise, buff titanium, which means I'll get a lovely sense of more of an assorted look, even though those two are going to follow on the same colour. I think it's more important to view it as a piece as a whole rather than thinking, oh, what came next, what came next. So we're going to paint this one in turquoise, on my sheet at least. And there we have a lovely set of sweet peas climbing up, and I'm going to just place in a tiny little bit of deep sap green on those leaves, just a tiny little leaf there. And that is our letter S, so thank you so much. The letter S had loads of options, but I just thought Sweet Pea is such a gorgeous one for watercolour painting. Some flowers just really lend themselves to it. So let me know how you're getting on with your alphabet. And of course, if you're sharing your photos of your paintings on social media, tag us at Winton Paper Co. And if you want to get involved, if you've been watching along and thinking, oh, maybe I could try it, you can. These flowers are small, simple, and with my step-by-step guides, you will be able to paint these no matter your painting ability. So you can grab your little set of brushes and your template in my website shop, dewintonpaperco.com, or on my Etsy store. Just type in De Winton Paper Co on Etsy and you'll find me. Okay, I will see you tomorrow for the letter T.